morning and welcome. Patriot Radio News Hour, Joe and Jason on this Hump Day Wednesday. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. You know, the Yankees won a game. It wasn't a World Series sweep. I'll just say that it would be sweet if somehow the Yankees could win 4 in a row. I don't think they will, but that would even be better because we just hate L.A. here in Arizona. We just do. I don't know. We got like a chip on our shoulder or whatever you want to call it when it comes to L.A., but at least they avoided the sweep last night. We'll see how that plays out. We got Halloween trick-or-treaters tomorrow. Be careful out there, and everybody, if you got the little ones, the weather at least will be nice here in the Valley of the Sun for trick-or-treating. And then we've got daylight savings, right? That's coming this weekend. The clocks for those states that still do. I don't know why. Jason told me that North Carolina, they've stopped doing it.
South Carolina.
South Carolina. Sorry, the wrong Carolina. Everybody should just stop doing it. I mean, I guess there was a time for it, like when, farming was the big thing in America. But anyway, for those of you that got to do your clock thing, that is this weekend. So be ready for that. You don't want to show up to work late or early. I don't know. Does it go back or forth? I don't know. Whatever it goes. Arizona, we don't have to worry about it. So whatever you guys got to do, good luck to you this weekend. Having said all that, I'm going to let you know. Get ready to dial today. Today is going to be another one of the spectacular sales that we have been running. You're going to be able to, there's gold, $20 gold pieces. The price is going to be unbelievable. And U.S. Silver Eagle, same thing. Unbelievable pricing that's coming up next. I'm going to just say this. Limited supply, so be ready. What number are you going to call? 800-951-0592. The website at allamericangold.com. Gold's at another record high today. We got a ton of economic data that came out today. First, we had the ADP, the private sector jobs. And this one, for the rate cut, folks, this one was massively bad. Over 200,000 jobs, they said, were created. Now, a lot of it was in education. So I don't know, is that government, I guess, teachers, not really sure. Leisure and hospitality, which is where most of the jobs, there was some gains, but not a lot. But still, overall, the number was big. Wages, still up 4.6%. So that was a bad number, that inflationary type number, well above what everybody was expecting, especially after the JOLTS number yesterday. But then we got GDP, third quarter GDP, which normally is the big quarter. So when we look at GDP, because this is, they got to seasonally adjust everything. The second and third quarters are the bigger quarters. The first and fourth quarters are the weaker or slower quarters. Remember, we had a 3% GDP in the second quarter. This one came in at 2.8, which is still really good. Really, when you think about, GDP over the last, 20 years, 2.8 is a pretty dang good number. But that was below what everybody was expecting. And then we got news out of the Treasury, and oh boy, here we go again. Next week, the Treasury said we're going to need to sell a special $125 billion worth of notes to restock the checkbook. And oh, by the way, we don't anticipate having to increase auction sizes until next year, so 2025. So they which we kind of knew. The Treasury saying, yep, auction sizes are going up. We kind of figured that out. They're going to sell 3-year notes, $58 billion. 10-year notes, that's $42 billion. By the way, that is up $3 billion. A 30-year bond, $25 billion, also up $2 billion in the refinancing for the Treasury. The Treasury said that they anticipate that they will have to increase auction sizes starting in 2025. And, of course, this is kind of what we've been anticipating. And immediately after that, Goldman Sachs out with another warning saying, hey, guys, when are you going to stop quantitative easy or tightening? The repo markets are going to be out of money, according to Goldman, at the end of the year, Jason. That's it. There's no more extra cash. So it's going to be interesting. A lot going on today.
I wonder if the money's going to last that long. That repo market could be drained by next week. We'll see. That's just what liquidity is left. I know all these things can be really, all these terms and all these things that Joe talks about. If you're new, it's just hard to follow. But basically, there's a little slush fund there since COVID that got filled up with a bunch of extra money, and when it goes to zero, and the tightening that Joe's talking about continues. Banks end up with no liquidity. Things go crash, right, Joe?
Yeah, and, interesting statements from the Treasury Borrowing Advisory Committee. Yeah, try to say that 10 times real fast. We'll be back. I'll tell you what they said. 800-951-0592. Joe and Jason, Patriot Radio News Hour on this Wednesday. The Dow right now up 120. The S&P's up 2. The Nasdaq's down just a couple of points. The 10-year note. Yesterday, we had a good auction. Took a little pressure off the markets, but the 10-year note right now, 428. Been as high. It's been as low as 4.2. Obviously, yesterday was high as 4.35. We'll see what tomorrow brings. And then, of course, the Treasury refinancing. The $125 billion next week. And, of course, tomorrow we've got to roll over $500 billion in debt. Crude oil is higher. Gasoline inventories hit the lowest levels in 2 years. This morning on the inventory side of things, gold's up. Depending on where you look, up a little more, down a little bit, But right now, 27.80 on gold. Silver's down. Right, silver was $34.50 yesterday. Right now, silver's down about 75 cents. And we're going to give you a great deal coming up on that as well. But remember, it is vital. This isn't a maybe. This isn't if X, Y, and Z. No, this is a certainty. There are big troubles brewing. And by the way, I got an update. We talked about TD Bank yesterday. Bank of America today telling everybody, we may have been doing some money laundering as well. And we're under investigation. We'll get to that in a little bit. The biggest debt market of them all is the U.S. Treasury market. You do understand. I hope people understand that. There's not a bigger bubble. And you're not going to believe the comments coming out of this board that none of us elected. I don't even know who's on it. Well, actually, that's a lie. I do know who's on it. I'll tell you about it. It's very, very dangerous right now, but it doesn't feel dangerous. That's always the problem. You need to get more diversified, and you can't wait. You can't wait to get diversified after the event happens. because that's just too late. We're running out of time here. Check out our friends over at YRefi. I've been talking about them for years. Up to 10.25% fixed rates of return. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know where the final high is going to be, but we're real close to it. I would say, I think by the end of the year, maybe into January, maybe. Wherever that high is. I don't know how long it'll take for us to get back there. If what the Treasury Advisory Board is saying is going to happen happens, which it's going to happen. Why? Because it's a bubble. It's what it is. Check them out. If you've got $50,000 or more, a lot of you out there, and I know it, you got big IRAs out there, and I get it. You're sitting there going, but Joe, I mean, it's doing good. It's doing good. I got you. I'm not telling you take the whole thing, but I'm just telling you right now, you're going to be putting a lot of that into gold and silver and an IRA, and you should be calling YRefi, put a bunch of it over there as well. If you've got $50,000 or more, check these guys out. InvestYRefi.com. Just call them. 888-YRefi24. 888-973-3924. So what did they say in this announcement? Because it's very interesting. Janet Yellen, oh, it's fine. Everything's wonderful. Boy, I'll tell you right now, I would really like it if Donald Trump won, because then she'll be out. She was a horrible central banker and a horrible Treasury secretary. I called her the lunch lady from day one. Because guess what? At the end of the day, that's all that's going to be left in your pocket is lunch money. That's it. Nothing else. So what did they say? Who is this board, by the way? Because it's not like they're elected, right? Well, let me tell you who's on the Treasury Borrowing Advisory Committee. It's composed of dealers. Okay? What does dealers mean? Banks, guys that run the auction. Okay? Fund managers and other market participants. So this is, I would say, Jason, like the private side, the private sector, the people that, hey, listen, we're the ones that run it. And also we got all the big hitters, and we got a committee. Right? You're going to have hedge funds in there. You're going to have money market funds in there, right? You probably got some pension guys in there. The big hitters. Guess what they said after the Treasury made this announcement today? They said that the risk that debt limit constraints would hamper the efficient funding of the government at the lowest possible cost to the taxpayer. What are they talking about? Well, essentially, what they said, what that sentence says, let me give it to you in English. Hey, guys, you keep making us sell more and more debt, and all of the participants that we're out of money, which means the amount of interest you're going to have to pay to sell this thing is going to kill the taxpayer. Remember what Jamie Dimon keeps talking about? Man, he won't shut up about how high he thinks the bond market yields are going to go. But wait, there's more. They weren't done. 'Cause if that wasn't enough, lack of resolution of the debt limit runs the risk of undermining the foundation of the U.S. Treasury market. These episodes will cause significant economic uncertainty, affect financial markets, and impact the U.S. credit rating. I don't. Do I need to translate? Let me translate that for you in case you didn't get it. Hey, you guys don't stop issuing debt, you're going to undermine the foundation of the Treasury market. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. And oh, by the way, it's going to create enormous economic uncertainty, affect the financial markets. What are the financial markets? That's your stock market. Get diversified. Wake up. I've never, ever seen talk like this. Right? Think about it. Bank of America said it. Goldman said it. Then, of course, J.P. Morgan said it. Now this advisory committee board, what's their job? Oh, I make sure the auctions run smoothly. And they're pounding their fist on the table. Do you understand why I want you to be more diversified? The effect on the financial markets, the impact on the U.S. credit rating, right? We're already no longer AAA. But, Jason, this is going to be a huge problem. I promise you this. Quantitative tightening is going to end real soon. Real soon. It's just a matter of time before quantitative easing comes roaring back. And the problem is, what they're saying is, hey, guys, we don't have the money. We're out. 800-951-0592. Before, oh, by the way, after the break, we're going to go to the special. I'm going to tell you BRICS just added 13 more countries to its alliance. Yeah, this thing is on. It is game on. But before we get to that, Bank of America, in a filing yesterday, says that they're in talks with several federal regulators in relation to certain aspects of the Corporations Bank Secrecy Act, anti-money laundering, and sanction compliance programs, including transaction monitoring, training, government, and due diligence. Basically, you caught us breaking the law. Boy, Warren Buffett. Interesting. You think he knew what we don't know? You think so? How bad is it? Yesterday we told you TD may have to be bought out or go under. They did it so badly. They say that they've been cooperating with regulators, but they're saying that essentially, here's what they're saying right now. Bank of America is letting you know we got caught. That's what they're letting us know today. They're initiating discussions with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, also looking into its electronic payment Zelle program, and they're trying to pursue a resolution of the inquiry or file an enforcement action. So essentially, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, Jason, is letting Bank of America know, we'll give you two choices. You can settle like TD did, or we're coming down with the hammer, and I don't know how big it is. This is the thing that we're uncertain of. In the TD penalty, it was a $3 billion fine, which essentially now puts its liquidity into question. And Bank of America is much bigger than TD. If they did it on the same scope, Jason, could we be talking about a $10 billion fine, a $15 billion fine? very uncertain. But, man, does this make a lot of sense with what Warren Buffett's been doing?
Warren Buffett's been selling, and he's, we talk about Bank of America, but earlier this year, just a few months ago, he's selling Apple stock. He seems to be selling a lot of this stuff, and he's, what is that, oil company? He's putting more stock into that oil company. And we know he was into silver at one time. It makes me wonder where some of this money is actually going, Joe.
Well, I'm going to say this right now. This is all the signs are out there. This was a major announcement. I mean, it's going to get lost in the election. Isn't it interesting that all of this is coming out when everybody and their mother is talking about the election? And this is why I said, I get it. I get it. It will make some difference depending on who the president is. But when it comes to the debt markets, when it comes to the health of financial institutions, when it comes to the credit rating of the United States, it's not going to matter. It's all up to you now. Are you going to get better protected, or are you going to leave yourself open? That's the only. Gold's up 6.5. 27.82. Get ready. New all-time highs. A lot more are coming. A lot more. There's only one way. Seriously, I hate to tell you this. They've got to try to inflate. They have to. No more quantitative tightening. Go back to quantitative easing. I mean, how much of the auctions are they going to have to buy for the Treasury Advisory Board to say, okay, right, thanks, because we can't buy it all. There's no other way. There's no other way. I mean, fiscal responsibility, that's not going to happen. Today, by the way, I'm going to just say this right now. It's going to be in the order that you call. When we ask you to hold, stay there. If you get voicemail, you can leave a voicemail. But I just hang up and call back. Try to get in line. When we're out, we're out. I'll start with the gold. $20 gold pieces. 1 through 9. $2,850. You heard me right. $2,875. I apologize. 1 through 9. $2,875. That's what right now, 90, well, I can't do it in my head right now. $68, is that right? No. $98 over. I'll get there. Take me a little bit. Actually, $93 over. I'm finally there, I think. 1 through 9. Start again. 1 through 9. $28.75. You got gold right now at $27.82. You buy 10 or more. $28.50. $2,850. You're talking like 60-something dollars over spot. You can't buy a gold bar for that. You can't buy an ounce of gold anywhere for that. I've only have 40. That is it. If one guy calls, first guy calls, buys all 40, that's it. It's over. Silver. U.S. Silver Eagles. I'll tell you right now. I have 25 rolls. That is it. When they're gone, they're gone. $775 for a roll of U.S. Silver Eagles. You cannot buy a roll of Silver Eagles anywhere for less than $800. Most places about $825. By the way, that is $25 over cost. Matter of fact, if silver was at 34.5, you'd be buying these for essentially cost. So $7.75 on rolls of Silver Eagles. That's $50 off. And then on the gold side, this is a deal of a lifetime. I've got 40 $20 gold pieces, 1 through 9. I know I screwed that pitch up, but, hey. 1 through 9, $28.75. Right? Gold right now is $27.82. You buy 10 or more, $2,850. If you buy 10 or more, that's $68 over spot. That is it. That's like no premiums at all. 800-951-0592. By the way, Stan Druckenmiller, Tudor Jones out today after this announcement from the Treasury and the Advisory Board, saying they believe that inflating out of debt is the only way to resolve the issue unless the United States is willing to take strict fiscal steps. And both saying they're not willing to do it because what are they talking about? Medicare and Medicaid and military. That's the only places to cut. No one's going to do that. Get ready. I think, you know what? Forget about $3,000 gold. Forget about $4,000 gold. I mean, Jason, I hate to say, but now it's time you can start talking about $5,000, $10,000. I mean, these things don't seem out of reach when you start understanding what it is that the people that run the Treasury markets are saying, especially what they've said just this week.
Yeah, and we have some history with this. I mean, when gold was $200, $300, $400 in the early 2000s, and then pushed up to $1,900, and even if you don't count the $1,900 spike, just look at the $1,200, $1,300 where it kind of settled. That's a 3x rise. So if gold was sitting happy at $2,000 through 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023, where it'd be at 2,000 or a little below, 3x would be $6,000. I don't know why it's so hard to believe, but we get 3x can happen, 10x can happen, Joe.
It's simple. Think about look at it in debt terms, right? $4 trillion, $250 gold. It went to about $20 trillion. Gold, like Jason said, kind of spiked up, but in all honesty, it was about $1,200, $1,300. Well, now we're getting ready to go to 40. But here's the problem. It doesn't stop at 40. This avalanche of debt is real. The ability to absorb it all, that's the part that isn't real. It can't be done. Why do you think BRICS is so big? Let me give you the number so it's out now. 13 new members into BRICS. It would have been 14, but Brazil blocked Venezuela. Algeria, okay, so oil. Belarus, not a huge deal, but Belarus, a Russian ally. Bolivia, Cuba. Then it gets a little bigger. Indonesia, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, right? We knew Malaysia would be in there. Nigeria, right? More oil, more OPEC. Thailand, knew they would be in there. Turkey, Uganda, Uzbekistan, and Vietnam are now all been invited to join the BRICS. So, Jason, this thing, it's got legs. And really more than doubling the size of BRICS, going from 11 members now to 24 members. And more members waiting. By the way, Brazil will be the head of the BRICS in 2025. The next BRICS summit scheduled for the summer of 2025. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592 will get to you in the order that you called. There are a couple of lines open. This is a Super Sale Wednesday. Man, could you imagine? I'm anticipating we're going to get through tomorrow's refunding or rollover because they've talked about it enough, but it's going to be interesting. We're going to get jobless claims tomorrow, and then the government jobs number Friday. $20 gold pieces 1 through 9. Ridiculous. $2,875. 10 or more. $2,850. By the way, gold's now up 10. So there you go. just like that, right? $2,786. And then silver. By the way, silver just back to $34, just like that, all during the break here. I've got 25 rolls of Silver Eagles. That's it. Not 26, not 56, 25 rolls, $775 at 800-951-0592. And Jason, we talked about BRICS now. Basically doubling in size and pushing up the next summit. Because normally these summits, they always fall in the fall. This one in Brazil next year, all of a sudden now is in the summertime. Do they know something we don't? Probably.
Yeah, the countries chosen to have, a lot of them have very large populations. I mean, I didn't realize Vietnam has 100 million people now. That little country has 100 million people, a little less than a third of the size of America. Of course, Indonesia has 282 million people, and Nigeria has 220 million. Nigeria could be the largest populated country in the world in about a generation or two. So
Nigeria is a
large
key
populations.
A key in there. Nigeria, Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, right? Vietnam. These are, some of the others not as big, not as important, could be more symbolic as far as it goes. But I'll just say that when, you just start putting GDP together now, BRICS with these new countries added, Jason, they've got over, they obviously got the majority of the world's population now, but they've got over half the GDP of the world now.
Right. And there's different ways to measure the countries in the BRICS versus the Western countries that are not in it that seem to be an advantage for the BRICS. So if this is a legit competition going on, then the BRICS is looking to be in a very strategically strong position. But there is all kinds of factors you got to weigh into this sort of thing, and military being one that the Western countries still seem to, the threat of force,
right?
The threat of force, right? The threat of force. How much money? How many people you have? Well, who's got the biggest toys? I sometimes ends up being the
my gun's
factor.
bigger than your gun, right? My gun's bigger than your gun. Speaking of guns. News out of China's Gold Association this morning. China's gold bar and coin consumption from January to September, 282.72 tons. Wow. That is a 27% increase from last year's number. And Jason, they're going to obviously approach not quite probably about 350 metric tons. And that's just investment demand. ETF demand, by the way, that was the one lagger during this gold run. That is ended. ETF demand in China up 48%, by the way. But out yesterday, ETF demand in what they'll call the Western skyrocketed in the last 30 days. hundreds of metric tons of gold being added into the ETS. The ETS had sold over 300 tons of gold so far this year. Jason, after this last report, it's now only down 25 tons for the whole year. And my guess is that the next report out, it won't be down at all. By the way, China continuing to import like crazy. Gold concentrate imports up 15.5%, and saying China saying, by the way, they expect that number to grow next year.
Yeah, there's going to be shortages, Joe. There's going to be more shortages than we've already been reporting. So, I still think Russia talking about how they're going to use silver as part of their strategic reserves. The fact that they produce a lot of palladium, platinum, and silver, it just gets the feel that Russia is like the next Hunt brothers. And with Russia, there's nothing stopping them from continuing to add and push the market. Where the Hunt brothers, they got someone stopped those dudes, right? Those guys got stopped. Not quite the free market we think, right?
Right. Well, and again, right? It's one thing to stop the Hunt brothers. How do you stop the Russians? Right? You don't. You're not able to. You can't do it because they're not doing it on paper. They're doing it physically. I don't know if you saw Caterpillar and Stellantis announcing big earnings misses, going to slow production. Matter of fact, Stellantis is going to stop production of the Durango and one of their other vehicles. Visa's laying off 1,400. We'll see. Google, though, don't worry. Google had really good earnings, so I know that makes a lot of you feel better. 800. The phone lines are open. I don't know how. 800-951-0592. Final segment coming up. 800-951-0592. Gold 2007 86. We still have plenty of specials available. We shouldn't, but hey, it's a great opportunity to buy. I mean, man, it's so close to spot and cost. $20 gold pieces, 1 through 9, $2,875. $89 over spot now. It keeps getting better. I mean, gosh, think about it. December gold's already $2,800. 10 or more. $2,850. $2,850. And then U.S. Silver Eagles, I mean, it's like $15 over cost. Rolls of them, 775 until we're gone. We had 40 20s to start. We had 25 rolls of Silver Eagles. Brittany's the only one here, so we're getting to you in the order that you called here. 800-951-0592. And, Jason, obviously, tomorrow's going to be a big day with the Treasury markets, jobless claims, and the government's jobs. Daylight savings, Halloween, and let's not forget the election next Tuesday. And it'll be very interesting. I don't know if we'll know a winner, but very interesting time in America today, and very disturbing what the Oversight Committee on the Treasury markets had to say today after the Treasury's refunding announcement. And, of course, Bank of America now admitting, yeah, we're criminals. We already knew that, didn't we?
That's true, yeah. Yes, Jack, or Joe. The bankers are always bending the rules, aren't they? A corporate interest gets fined. Nobody actually gets to have to pay for the criminal behavior, but that's the system we live in. And as far as the special, I mean, the beginning of the year, you probably could have got a $20 gold piece from us for about $2,200. Before March happened, and gold prices just started pushing really fast. I mean, gold really started pushing late 2023, as we got out of those 1,800 gold, 1,900 gold prices. But if you're sitting there, looking at 28, what is it, Joe, 28.25 or 28.75 for a gold piece, it's not going to matter when gold pushes past 3,000 and probably gold could very easily be $4,000 next year. If that happens, you're not going to worry about buying gold at $2,200 for gold piece or $2,800 for gold piece when we'll be selling gold. Gold at 4,000, Joe. What's a gold piece going to go if the premiums go up? Is that a $5,000 gold piece? $4,800 if gold if the spot's at 4,000, you're not going to be worrying about that. So if you're one of those guys out there, it's like, well, I got to watch the market, I got to time the markets. This is not stocks. This isn't the hot stock. This isn't the cool investment that's on the stock channel. This is gold and silver. And as things get worse economically, gold and silver will just keep stomping upward, Joe.
Well, this is the best part about buying it today, because really you're buying it like gold was $2,600. Now you're buying it is like almost $200 less. I mean, this is
just for the coins we have, by the way.
Yeah, well,
just
of course,
for these coins,
right? Because I can't go to the wholesalers and buy them like this. I can't do it. Jump on it, man. So happy to be able to offer this. 800-951-0592. Jason and I were coming right back with the Half Empty Cup.